In this lecture, we are going to see about Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, El-Gamal crypto system, ECA, elliptic curve arithmetic, and ECC, elliptic curve cryptography. We will see one by one. The first topic is Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. In the word sense, it is found by Diffie-Hellman, and the main purpose of this algorithm is to exchange the key, secret key between two users in a secured manner. So that is the main aim of this key exchange algorithm. So the purpose of this algorithm is to enable two users to exchange a key in a secure manner, and that can be used for the subsequent process of encryption. And the algorithm itself is it is used to limit the exchange of secret values, and which is mainly depends on for its effectiveness on the difficulty of computing discrete logarithms. So the main aim of this algorithm is to exchange the key value between two users in a secure manner. So this is the algorithm. The right hand side part is the algorithm. So initially, before proceeding with processing of key value, we have to choose two value. One is q and another one is alpha. That is the first block, global public element. So q is the prime number and alpha is the primitive root of that particular prime number. It should be less than the value of q. So after that, there are two users. One is user A and another one is user B. So initially, user A select the private key, that is the random number that is named as XA. It should be less than q, that is q is the prime number, and then calculate the public key value that is named as YA is equal to alpha power XA and mod q. Then user B similarly doing the same step. They have to select the private key that is named as XB, that should be less than q, and have to calculate the public key value that is YB is equal to alpha power XB and mod q. So after calculating the YA and YB value, after the third step, we know the value of q, alpha, XA, YA, XB and YB. So from this, we can easily calculate the value for user A key, that is the key value, shared secret key value. K is equal to the fourth box, YB power XA mod q, and the user B calculate the secret key from their side, that is K is equal to YA power XB mod q. So for this, the fourth and fifth step only the key exchange process. So for that key exchange value, the user A have to know the value for YB. So for that YB value only, user B calculate the YB public B value. Similarly, the user B key value, they have to need the value for YA. That's why the YA value is calculated by the user A by using the value of private key value XA. So this is the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. So consider user A and B wants to exchange a key between them. So user A selects the random number XA, which should be less than q, and compute the value YA. It has some formula. Similarly, user B selects the random integer that is not XA, XB, that should be less than q, and compute the value for YB, the third step. So YB is equal to some formula. So now they have to know value. They know the value for XA, XB, YA and YB. By using these values, they can easily calculate the secret value from user A side and user B side. Both the values named as K only. So the first K1 is nothing but it is a value shared by the user A. So K is equal to YB power XA mod q, and in the side of user B computes the key value as YA power XB mod q. The main point is these two calculations produce the identical result, which means the both K value should be similar, should be the same value. For example, the K1 is 60 means K2 is also 60. That is the main point of this algorithm. So you can see in the left hand side part is we can derive from one key value into another key value. Here there are two key value. One is generated by user A, the fourth box, and another key value is generated by user B, that is the fifth box. So we can easily derive or generate one key value into another key value by substituting the above values. So initially we will start with first key value generated by user A. So K is equal to YB power XA mod q. This is the key value that is generated by user A. So after this, we can substitute the value for YB. So in the third box you can see the YB value is alpha power XB mod Q. So that value is substituted for YB. So in the YB part, alpha x power B mod Q, the power XA mod Q. So from this we can translate the value for XA to the power of alpha power XB, because within that bracket also having mod value and outside of the box having also having mod value, and the modular value is the same Q only. So we can write one modular value. For that purpose we have to write alpha power XB and XA. Outside we are having one mod Q. From that we can exchange the value, that is within bracket we have to write XA and outside the box we have to write XB. So after that the alpha power XA mod Q which have to be expanded by this. So alpha power XA mod Q and the whole bracket having XB and mod Q. In the first step we have to simplified by writing one mod Q instead of that having two mod Q value. So in this step also we have to write two modular arithmetic value for a single modular value. So from this step alpha power XA mod Q is equal to YA, that is the second public value generated by user A. So the term is replaced by YA power XB mod Q. So this is the key value for secret key value that is generated by user B. So we started with the key value user A and ended with the key value user B. So this is also possible, and also we can apply in the reverse process also. We can start with user B key value and ended with the user A key value also. So this is the algorithm of Diffie-Hellman. And consider one example. Here initially we have to take the prime number Q is equal to 353 and primitive root for this integer value is A, alpha, that is 3. Initially we choose Q and alpha, so Q is 353 and alpha is 3. In the second step, second box, we have to select XA. From that XA we have to calculate YA. So XA value is 97, and in the third step we have to select the private key value XB. So XB value is 233. So now we know the value Q, alpha, XA, XB. By using these four value, now we are going to calculate YA and YB, just substituting the above value in this formula. So the first step, A computes YA is equal to alpha power XA mod Q. So alpha is 3 and XA is 97 and Q value is 353. So the value is 40, that is YA. Then B computes YB is equal to alpha power XB mod Q. So alpha is 3 and XB is 233. So the result is 248. Now YA is 40, YB is 248 and XA and XB value is known. So from the above four values we can calculate the key value for user A and for user B. So K is equal to YB power XA mod Q. YB value we know 248, XA is 97, so 248 power 97 mod Q is 353. So the result is 160. Similarly B computes K is equal to YA value is 40 and XB value is 233. So 40 power 233 mod Q 353. So the result is 160. You can easily calculate the modular arithmetic value by using the calculator, right? So in this point you can clearly see that the key value generated by user A, that is 160, and key value generated by user B is 160. So in the last point you can see that these two calculations produce identical result. I already said the results are same. So the key values are same, 160 and 160. So these key values should be exchanged between the two user A and B by using Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. So this is the process of key exchange protocol. You can clearly see that actually the key exchange protocol that can be easily described in the diagrammatic manner. So this is the diagrammatic process of this already doing steps. So you can clearly see that the first box is user A and second one is user B. So initially user A generate the random number XA that should be less than Q and calculate YA by using XA. So that YA value is passed to user B. So the arrow mark indicate YA value. Simultaneously, user B generate the random number xb that should be less than q and calculate yb by using the value of yb. So user B send the yb value to user A. So now user A knows the value of xa, ya and yb, and user B knows the value of xb, yb and ya. So by using these formulas, user A calculate the key value k, secret value, by using the formula yb power xa mod q, because the user A know the value yb because it is passed from the user B. And the same manner user B calculate the key value by using the value of ya, because the ya value is passed from user A to user B. So this is the process of key exchange protocol. In this there is one problem, there is attack, that is man in the middle attack. So consider or let us assume there are two users, one is Bob and another one is Alice. So the first user is Alice and the second user is Bob. So in the word sense, man in the middle attack, so there is some third party, the named as Darth. They have to be appeared in the middle of Alice and Bob and retrieve the key value. That attack is known as man in the middle attack. So you have to assume as the user A is Alice and user B is Bob. So in between the Darth, the third party person will appear to retrieve the key that is exchanged between the user A and B. That's why this attack is known as man in the middle attack, right? So initially Alice transmits ya to Bob. You have to simultaneously simulate the example with this key exchange protocol. So here user A pass ya to user B and user B pass yb to user A. Have to remember. So Alice transmits ya to Bob, but the Darth third party intercepts ya and transmit another key value yd1 that is generated by Darth to Bob. And Darth also calculates the key value k2 by using the ya value of Alice, right? So next Bob receives yd1 that is transmitted from Darth and calculate k1 by Bob by using the value sent by the Darth yd1, right? So now you can clearly see that Bob calculate the key value which was sent by Darth, and Darth also calculate the key value which was sent by Alice. So now Bob transmits the value of xa to Alice. So Darth again intercepts and retrieve the value of xa and transmits another value yd2 to Alice. Now Darth calculates the second key value k1 by using the values by getting Bob and Alice. Now Alice receives yd2 that is sent by Darth and calculates key value k2 by getting the value from Darth. At this point, Bob and Alice think that they share the secret key between them, but instead Bob and Darth share secret key k1 and Alice and Darth share another secret key k2. Again I repeat, at this point Bob and Alice think that they share the original secret key value k1 and k2, but the original thing is Bob and Darth share the secret key k1 because Darth generate the key value k1 by using the value getting from Alice, right? And Alice and Darth share the secret key k2 because here also Darth generate the key value by getting the information from Bob. So this attack known as man in the middle attack, because the man Darth appeared between both the persons Alice and Bob and have to modify some information. So that's why this attack is known as man in the middle attack. So this is the concept of Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. This is nothing but the two users have to exchange the secret key between the two users in a secured manner. That concept is known as Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. So the second topic is Elgamal cryptography. So it is also the public key crypto system. You all know what is public key cryptography, which is related to Diffie-Hellman key exchange, and it uses the concept of exponentiation and with the security based difficulty of computing logarithms, as in d-h is nothing but Diffie-Hellman. And here also in Elgamal cryptography they have to choose as the secret key which is the number between 1 and q minus 1. In Diffie-Hellman they have to choose the number less than q. For example, they have to choose the value xa, but it should be less than q. Similarly, the same one, but here the value should be less than q minus 1, and also the same concept, they have to calculate the public key ya, but the formula is little bit different, is equal to a power xa mod q, right? So the Elgamal message, this is also, Elgamal is also the concept of key exchange algorithm. Diffie-Hellman is also key exchange, Elgamal is also key exchange. Both are the concept of key exchange, but the method is a little bit different, right? So here the message exchange concept between Bob and Alice. So Bob encrypt the message. Here Bob is the first user. So Bob encrypt the message. So here this is also many formulas are there. The message is indicated by M and it between 0 and Q minus 1, and also choose the random integer. In Diffie-Hellman they have to choose the random integer XA. Here the value is known as K, which is also between 1 and Q minus 1. The key value is known as is equal to y power K mod Q. And here the pair of integers is nothing but C1, C2. C1 is equal to some formula a power K mod Q, and C2 is equal to Km mod Q. So after that the another receiver A recovers message by doing some formula, that is K is equal to C1 power XA mod Q, and computing M is the original message, plain text message, is equal to C2 K inverse mod Q. So these are all the formulas. Initially Bob encrypts some message by using the above formula. After that the receiver A recovers the message by doing the below formulas. So consider this example formula like we did for Diffie-Hellman. First the values Q is 19 and A is 10. Similarly for Diffie-Hellman, initially we have to choose Q and alpha. Here Q and A. So Alice chooses XA for 5 and compute YA from the XA value, because A power XA mod Q. So here A value is 10 and XA is 5 and mod Q is 19. So the YA value is 3. Now Bob sends the message, original message 17, by choosing the random value K is equal to 6. So now calculating the value YA power K mod Q. YA value is 3. Already this is computed in the above step by A. So 3 power 6, because K value is 6 and mod Q is 19. So the key value is 7. Then also calculate C1 and C2 by using the formula C1, C2. So C1 value is 11 and C2 value is 5. So this is the message encrypted by Bob by using the formulas. After that Alice recovers the original message by computing K value and computing M value, original message value. So K is equal to C1 XA mod Q. C1 is 11 and XA value is 5. So 11 power 5 mod 19. The value of K is 7. So you can clearly see that Bob computing key value, that is also equal to 7. So Alice recovers the key value, that is also equal to 7. And the next one is M value, that is M is equal to C2 K inverse mod Q. So 5, 11 mod Q, the result is 17. So you can clearly see that in the fourth step of Bob, C2 is equal to 17. So Bob encrypts a message, and after that A then recovers the original message by performing some formulas. The solutions are identically same. So this is Elgamal cryptography and Elgamal message key exchange, and with one example. So Elgamal and Diffie-Hellman, the concept is nothing but they have to exchange the secret key between two users in a secret manner. But Diffie-Hellman having different algorithm and Elgamal having different algorithm, but the concept is same. The next concept is elliptic curve cryptography, which is otherwise called as ECC. In the examination point, they have to ask like what is ECC? Is nothing but elliptic curve cryptography. So the majority of public key cryptography system, they have to use RSA or Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. So RSA and Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm based on the concept of public key crypto system, because they have to use one key for encryption and have to use another key for decryption. That concept is known as public key crypto system. So in elliptic curve cryptography, it is used for storing and processing of keys and messages, and it is an alternative use of elliptic curves. So offers same security with smaller bit size and it is very newer but not as well as analyzed. So this is the concept of elliptic curve cryptography. So here one important point is what is elliptic curve, because it is elliptic curve cryptography. We all know what is cryptography, so we should know what is elliptic curve. So elliptic curve is defined by an equation in two variables, that is x and y, with some coefficient value. So the elliptic curve form of y square is equal to x cube plus ax plus b. Here x, y, a, b are all real numbers, and one more point, they have to define the 0 point, which is named as O, and consider the set of points E of a comma b, that is elliptic curve of a comma b, which should satisfy have addition operation for elliptic curve, right? So you can see that this is the elliptic curve example. So in the x point, they have to having negative numbers and 0 and that positive numbers. Similarly for y axis, they having negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers. Consider they have to start with 0. In P point, they have to start with x axis 0 and y axis 0, that is point as P. After that, we have to assume P value is 1 and Q value is 1. So P plus Q, in the sense 1 plus 1, the above value is minus 2. So in the graph, we have to point minus 2, and P plus Q means 1 plus 1, 2. The above one is minus 2 and below value is plus 2. So from P point, P is nothing but 0 value. So from 0 value, we have to draw the curve for minus 2, that is in the above, and for plus 2, that is the curve in the below part. So this is the elliptic curve cryptography, which should be the sum of P plus Q. That is nothing but upper part is minus of P plus Q and below part is P plus Q. So this is the real elliptic curve example. And when the elliptic curve is known as finite elliptic curve. Elliptic curve cryptography uses the curves whose variables and coefficients are finite, then only the elliptic curve is known as finite elliptic curve. So elliptic curve cryptography addition is the concept of modular multiplication, and elliptic curve cryptography is repeated addition is nothing but modulus value of exponentiation. Modulus multiplication is nothing but y is equal to a mod n, that is modulus multiplication. Modulus exponentiation is nothing but x is equal to y power a mod q, that is modulus exponentiation. And this concept is needed in a hard problem. For example, let us take q is equal to kp. Here q, kp, there may be any positive real number or prime numbers. Here it is very easy to compute capital Q for the given value of k and p, right? But it is very hard to find the k value, key value, by the given value of q and p, right? So we have to calculate the key value by using the elliptic curve logarithm problem. So what is ECC Diffie-Hellman? We all know, we know what is ECC, that is elliptic curve cryptography. Elliptic curve, what is mean by elliptic curve, and what is by Diffie-Hellman? So what is elliptic curve cryptography Diffie-Hellman? So here users select a suitable curve that is named as E of a comma b, and have to select the base point, that is nothing but x1 and y1, and have to choose the O value, that is the point, midpoint, and then a and b select the private key value, that is NA and NB, which should be less than small n. Here ECC is the different concept and Diffie-Hellman is the different concept. Now we are going to combine both the concept. That's why we are using elliptic curve pair of point and also the private key and public key values, shared secret key values for Diffie-Hellman concept. So A and B choose the private key of their own, that is NA and B, which should be less than n, and then compute the public key values by using both NA and NB value, that is PA is equal to NA into G, PB is equal to NB into G. So here G is nothing but the base point which is needful for drawing the elliptic curve. So because here we have to combine the concept of ECC and Diffie-Hellman, that's why in public key computation we have to include both private key value and base point value, that is nothing but PA is equal to NA into G and PB is equal to NB into G. So by using the above values, we can easily compute the shared key, that is nothing but k is equal to NA into PB, k is equal to NB into PA. So we can clearly see that in the shared key, because Diffie-Hellman is nothing but which is used to generate the key value that is shared between two users. So here the shared key value k is nothing but NAPB. NA and B is nothing but the private key value for A and B. But what is PB and PA? PA includes the base point G and PB includes the base point G. G base point is nothing but which is the needful for drawing the elliptic curve cryptography. That's why the two concepts are intercepted here. Right. So then what is ECC, encryption and decryption? Here also the encryption having some formula and decryption having some formula. In the last step, to encrypt it is a formula that is kg comma pm plus kbb. All of them, each and every individual variable is the some value that is generated by user A and user B. So we have to substitute that formula, substitute the value in the formula to getting the plain text, and substitute the formula in the decryption process to getting the original plain text value. So then finally we know what is ECC. So then finally we know what is ECC security. How the elliptic curve cryptography concept is more secure and more efficient than Diffie-Hellman and RSA. These are the points. The first one is it is the elliptic curve logarithm problem, and it is the fastest method compared to RSA and Diffie-Hellman. And compared to factoring method, ECC can use much smaller key size than with RSA and Diffie-Hellman. And for equivalent key length, the computations are also equivalent. So for similar security, ECC offer significant computational advantage. So the main security points are it is the fastest method and uses very smaller key size, and key length computations are also equivalent, and the computation process is more advantageous compared to RSA and Diffie-Hellman process. And elliptic curve cryptography, the same concept. So ECC was introduced by Victor Miller and Neil Koblitz in 1985. It is a new approach to public key cryptography because RSA, Diffie-Hellman, ECC are all public key cryptography, and ECC requires a very smaller key size with the same level of security. In case we have to reduce the key size, in the sense the security is not less, we also getting the same level of security like RSA and Diffie-Hellman, but the key size is very small. And the benefits of having smaller key sizes, we have to perform the computation in very fast manner, and also the elliptic curve cryptography need very less storage space. And ECC very much useful in push down automatas, we will know in TOC, and cellular phones and smart cards. So what are the mathematical backgrounds for elliptic curve cryptography? Because elliptic curve cryptography is which mainly include elliptic curve. So to draw elliptic curve, we know what is the quadratic equation and what is the base point, what is the pair, and we have to know lot of properties and theorems. So it should be have some mathematical background. We will see what are they. So a group, we all know what is a group. So a group is an algebraic system consisting of a set together with a binary operation star, that is multiplication, defined by the group satisfying the following properties. That properties are closure, associativity, identity, and inverse. So closure is nothing but for all x and y in group, and also x multiplication y, which is also belongs to the particular group. And associativity rule is x star y star z is also equal to x star y star z. And identity element is nothing but a dot e is equal to e dot a, which is also equal to a. For example, consider e is an element is equal to 1, means a into 1 is equal to 1 into a is also equal to a. And the final one is inverse element. So a into a inverse is equal to a inverse into a is also equal to the another particular identity element e. So these are the properties should be satisfied by a group. And the next one is another commutative law, that is x star y is equal to y star x. This is also satisfied by a group. We all know what is field and what is finite field. The same concept is here. And elliptic curve, you all know this is elliptic curve. The equation is y square is equal to x cube plus ax plus b. Here x, y, a and b are the real numbers or coefficient value. So we have to draw the elliptic curve in this manner also. In the previous slide, that is also the elliptic curve, this is also the elliptic curve. Here we have to write the real numbers in the x-axis and y-axis. In the below of x-axis they have to include the negative number, and after 0 in the horizontal they have to include the minus number. This is also the elliptic curve, but the base point is 0. After that only we have to calculate p minus of p plus q and p plus q. Minus of p plus q is the upper part, so it is a curve from the 0 point, and p plus q is the positive number, it is the below part that will start from the 0 value. So this is also the another equation for elliptic curve. So the elliptic curve group consists of the points on the curve and the special point O, meeting point of curve with straight line at infinity. So this is one property, that is point addition. Listen carefully. Here we have to draw first we have to draw a elliptic curve by using the formula minus p plus q and p plus q and having the special point O. After that we have to draw a line that intersect 2 points p and q. So the line will intersect the third point minus r. After that we have to draw a vertical line from r minus r to r. So the point r is defined as the summation of p plus q. So r is equal to p plus q. This is known as point addition. After that another important point, here we have to draw a line that intersect point p and minus p, because here also the p value is 4. So above value represent p is equal to 4, below value is p is equal to minus 4. That's why the name is given as minus p. So the line will not intersect the third point, because the straight line will occur between p and minus p. There is no another point which will not intersect by the point p and minus p. So for this reason p minus p is equal to O, that is the additive identity. So next one is point doubling. Here also first of all we have to draw a elliptic curve. After that draw a line to point P. The line will intersect the second point minus R. Then draw a vertical line from minus R to R. So that the line starting from minus R intersect the third point R. So the point R is defined as the summation of point P with its R is equal to 2P. That's why this concept is known as point doubling, that is 2P point doubling. Next one is point multiplication. So the main cryptographic operation in elliptic curve cryptography is point multiplication, because it is performed through the combination of point addition and point doubling. So point addition is nothing but r is equal to p plus q, and point doubling is r is equal to 2p. So we have to substituting here. So the point multiplication is simply calculating q is equal to kp, where k is an integer and p is a point on the curve called the base point. P is the base point, O is the special point. Next one is point multiplication in elliptic curve cryptography, because point multiplication is the main operation in elliptic curve cryptography. So each has the special point P called the base point that should be chosen as a large fraction of the elliptic curve point. So to generate a key pair, one select a random number k which acts as the private key and computes kp which serve as the public key. So the elliptic curve also performing some logarithmic problem. So the discrete logarithm problem for ECC is the inverse of point multiplication. So you have to remember that point multiplication is the main operation in elliptic curve cryptography. So the inverse of point multiplication is nothing but discrete logarithm problem for ECC. So the last one is what makes ECC hard to crack. So hope you all know what is ECC. So in what kind the ECC is very hard to crack means, the security of ECC relies on the difficulty of solving the elliptic curve discrete logarithm problem, because as I already said, The point multiplication is the main operation in ECC, and inverse of point multiplication is nothing but logarithm problem. So it is very difficult to track the logarithm problem. So ECC is very hard to track. So in the given Q is equal to Kp, it is very difficult to find the K value for the given value of Q and P. So that's why ECC is very hard to track. So the advantages of ECC over RSA and Diffie-Hellman, there are three advantages which is most important. The first one is it have the very smaller key size and for equivalent security which is given by RSA. Second one is by using smaller key size, the computation is very fast and it occupies very less memory. So these are the advantages over RSA and Diffie-Hellman. So these are some of the applications of ECC. So the first one is which is used for a secure web transaction. For example, we are using net banking nowadays. So this is the main application of ECC, elliptic curve cryptography. And the second one is elliptic curve digital signature algorithm. And the last application is for cellular phones, PDAs and smart cards. We are using elliptic curve cryptography. This is also important. The first application is web transaction and a digital signature and a cellular phone and smart cards. And the conclusion of ECC is it uses group and a logarithm problem, and it is a stronger option than the RSA. And due to small key size, the implementation part is very easy and the computation is very fast, and it occupies very less memory. And ECC is excellent choice for portable and communication devices. So the main advantage of ECC is the key length is increases, so does the difficulty of the inversion process is also very difficult. So these are the concept of ECC. So you all know what is elliptic curve arithmetic and what is elliptic curve cryptography and what is elliptic curve. So you have to write the definition and you have to write the example diagram for ECC elliptic curve. And what is mean by man in the middle attack? It should be occurred in the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. And the last one is applications of ECC. It should be used in web transaction and digital signature, cellular phone, smart cards.